I made so much money in 1 month and I made 30 grand or 50 grand my first month. And it's like, but you did that because you already had a brand. You did that because you already had the skill. But somebody brand new coming in doesn't have that skill and doesn't have that brand. So they were teaching like, oh, sell digital products and you're gonna make a lot of money. But if you don't have the brand, you're not gonna be able to sell the digital product.
Welcome back. It's your girl, Jasmine Jones, here in the Creator Hub Studios, presented by Transcend. And today I'm here with
Jasmine
and Dray.
And so I want to talk to you guys about, like, first of all, this is your first time here at Creators Hub, right?
Yes. Yeah, first time.
And did it exceed your expectations, or like, what did you think about the event?
It definitely exceeded our expectations. Like, we did not think it was going to be like this, like, at all. We thought that, I don't know I thought it was going to be a small event. And this is like a whole conference, you know?
Yeah.
But we knew it was going to be like, you know, Icon throws pretty good parties. So like parties, events. And so we knew that his vibe was like the Creator Hub vibe. So we're like, okay, like, but I thought it was going to be small, but with a vibe, but it turned out to be so big. And not only that, but the people, the quality of people that are here, the amount of sponsors that he got for this event is insane. And honestly, if you missed out, damn, you better come back next year for sure.
Icon always goes big.
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
He like edified it before I got here. So I already kind of had a feeling it was going to be good just because he's such an amazing personality, and he's like, he's very dedicated to what he does. So, and you can see that in the event, and it's been amazing. And the quality of the people, again, like the networking with a lot of high level people has been amazing.
That's awesome. So for people who might not know you guys, I mean, obviously I know you guys, but tell people, like, what is it that you guys do online?
So we created a course and we sold it 55,000 times, and we helped our creators generate over $27 million. That's what we do. And by doing that, we help them build a brand. Yeah.
That's amazing. Now, what inspired you guys to want to do that?
We feel like there was a gap in the industry. We feel like people were not really looking at branding as like the skill set to attract income into their lives. We feel like a lot of people focus on sales. You focus on their website, their funnel, their automations, and they were missing the most important part that's going to bring people to their funnel, the sales, and everything else, and that was branding. So, and we were really good at it. We built huge communities and influence in the past with our past careers in network marketing. And so we knew we were good at it, and we're like, let's do it together and let's create this course. She was like,
I did not want to create a course.
She didn't want to create a course.
I was like, that's way too much work. I was actually reselling another course because I didn't want to do my own. And then Jasmine's like, we're not doing that. We're not selling somebody else's thing, because she didn't like the branding.
Yeah.
So she's big on the aesthetic, and she didn't like the branding. And then she's like, let's just do it ourselves. Like, we have something that these people don't even know. And I'm like, you're so right, because after joining the digital product space, because we were in network marketing, joining the digital product space, there were so many people that were like, that transitioned and from network marketing to digital products, and like, I made so much money in 1 month and I made 30 grand or 50 grand my first month. And it's like, but you did that because you already had a brand. You did that because you already had the skill. But somebody brand new coming in doesn't have that skill and doesn't have that brand. So they were teaching like, oh, sell digital products and you're gonna make a lot of money. But if you don't have the brand, you're not gonna be able to sell the digital product. So that's where we created our course, Ultimate Branding Course, was to bridge that gap and teach them the basics of the branding that we had learned over our 5-year, even longer career on social media. So that's kind of like how the baby formed.
And then she wanted to create it in 30 days.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, girl, we're doing this in 3 days. And then we did it in 1 week. So yeah,
She likes to stress me out. She likes to stress me out. I'm the overthinker. I'm the perfectionist. And then she's like, we got to take action right now. So we work very well together because of that. So yeah.
And you guys have been best friends for like ever.
Yeah.
How's that feel, like working with your best friend as your business partner, and like
it's
just
like
doing
bittersweet.
Spicy?
Yeah.
What do you mean bittersweet?
It's bittersweet because It's two talented brains, okay, and with two strong opinions. And so we have to know our place of like where our expertise and strengths are for us to give ourselves credibility on what we're saying on like decisions, right? And we had to figure that out being business partners. Like I figured out what I was good at and then she figured out what she was good at. Whatever she was good at, I lacked, and whatever I was good at, she lacked. And that's kind of how our business partnership grew so well. And the reason why UBC is where it's at today is because of her strengths and my strengths put together. So, and then we're best friends at the end of the day. So it's fun. It's fun building a business when you know how to set proper boundaries and have proper communication with one another when we're growing like this empire. Like, yeah, we definitely
had some rough patches.
We did.
Only when we started the course. We never had it before.
Yeah.
But when we started the course, and because there was just all the problems were arising at the same time, and then you have to figure out what the solutions are and who's gonna do what. And and we definitely had a little bit of like figuring that out. But I think that we do a great job because honestly, like partnerships are like a marriage, and most people fail. 50% of marriages fail. Even more percentage of partnerships fail. But we've been working together now for over 5 years. So I feel like we've got a good synergy of like figuring out like she said, who's good at what, but also communication. Communication is the number one thing. Like if you just let things slide and you don't communicate it, then you build resentment.
Yes.
And I think we've been on both sides of that where, being resentful a little bit towards each other when we didn't communicate.
Yeah.
And we had to really learn to communicate in order to be good business partners, especially because friendship is involved.
Yeah.
But it's honestly like a blessing. I have so many entrepreneurs that are like friends that are entrepreneurs that always say like, wow, like I wish I had like a friend. I wish I had a community. And it really is like, when you're feeling down, like even this event, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't want to, because on Friday we had our own event here, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that. I was not in the mood. I was not motivated. But then Jasmine was like really wanting to do it, and I'm like, well, I can't be the person that holds us back. So like, then I'm like, okay, let's do it. So it's really good because when you're down, somebody else is there to pick you up, and we kind of take turns freaking out. Like, even for this event, like I was freaking out the week before, she was freaking out last night about our speeches, and we kind of take turns, and like one person is calming, the other person is freaking out. So it's really awesome. Like it's great. Like I don't think I would be as far as I am today if Jasmine wasn't in my life, and I think she could say the same thing.
No,
like,
no, I'm kidding.
girl.
No, for sure. I don't know what I would do without her, because this girl just be thinking a million times in a second, like different thoughts all the time, details, like worst case scenario, best case scenarios. Like her mind, I get stressed when she has all these thoughts, but she's the one that figures.
This morning she went to the bathroom. She's like, I'm gonna go practice my speech in the bathroom because you're talking too much.
Yeah.
And just put on classical music.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you gonna add this? Are you gonna do this? You should add this part here. Because my brain is like,
on overload.
Yeah.
But we need that, because I'm not going to overload my brain. So I'm just going to
opposites attract.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like I honestly cannot do what she does, like with the thoughts that she has in her head and like the map that she lays out in her mind and like the game plan and everything. So yes, we definitely need a Dray in our lives.
If it was just me, I would get nothing done, honey. Because I'd be overthinking too much. And Jasmine's like, we're doing this in 3 days. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And then like I'm figuring it out. So without her,
She puts the
honestly,
deadlines there.
Yeah.
I would get nothing done. Any of my own projects that I've done by myself never got off the idea plate. Like they never got off. I got so many ideas, never got done because there's not someone there telling me like, stop thinking about every detail and just do it. And so I really do feel like I need her to take action.
Yeah.
And she needs me to, I guess, fulfill
to
some
fulfill
of those
the
actions.
details and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, it works well. So
What's something a part of your creative process that would surprise people?
Austin Farwell. I don't know if that's surprising.
awesome. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, like when I want to tap into my creativity, because it's not easy. You can't just sit there and be like, okay, brain, be creative. It doesn't work that way. I think people think that's how it is. It's not. It's when like I'm washing dishes, or when I'm going for a drive or going for a walk, or when I'm on the treadmill or on the Stairmaster is when my creativity taps in. And it's while I'm listening to a specific type of music, and that music is Austin Farwell. It's a classical music artist. I feel like that's something unique. I don't know if people do that, but I mean, it works for me. So yeah, classical music, washing dishes, on the treadmill or on the Stairmaster is where the creativity gets activated. Yeah.
I felt that. I wish I could be on the Stairmaster right now.
Why would you? That's like torture.
I don't, it's like going to the gym is like
challenging.
It's challenging torture,
But you get
it's like,
inspired.
Yeah, the gym, but the Stairmaster.
Yeah, but the Stairmaster gets you inspired because it's so hard. So then your brain
like the
is trying to
sweat,
come
like-
up with ways to like stay on that treadmill. And then that's the same way with life. Like you're going to use the same perspective. I mean, that's what I do. When it's hard on I'm on, not the treadmill, the Stairmaster. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so hard. I'm going to give up.
I
And
think
then my mind's
the
like,
treadmill
no.
doesn't get you like as sweaty though.
No, it's the
as
Stairmaster. The Stairmaster?
yeah, like the Stairmaster like pushes you. I don't know, because I'm like that person that if I didn't sweat enough in the gym, I don't think I worked out as hard.
But the
So then-
Stairmaster
exactly,
is
the
going to force
stair,
you to
exactly.
sweat.
Not for me.
So no,
relate.
you don't even, because you don't even try. You don't even go on level 10.
I do go to the gym, but
do you go on level 10 though? You go on
But
level 3.
why would I want to walk upstairs? Like, I don't understand why you guys want to do that. Like, it's torturing.
Because I know that it works. Okay, it's hard. Okay.
I mean, also if you do the Stairmaster, you'll do it every day, and then when you start going upstairs, like at Disney Springs, a lot of my family, I would go there with them, and they're struggling going
Yeah.
up those
Oh,
steep
yeah.
You,
stairs, and
prepped
I'm like,
yourself.
"What you guys doing over
Yeah.
there?" Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm already up here at the top.
Preparing for life. Okay.
So I love watching you guys online. Like I've been watching you guys for years, and something that I really admire is how you guys are able to sell your influence and to influence people just by them getting to know you and everything online. Can you speak on like how you were able to cultivate that formula, to present your businesses that you've been able to, multiple businesses you've been able to excel at?
I always lead with values. Like, I feel like the people that struggle with gaining influence because they do not know who they are. So you have to get down to, what do you value? What are your values in life? What drives you in this life? For me, my values is freedom. My values is spirituality with God, right? Like my relationship with God. My values are money, like financial freedom. What other for you? Your value is health,
Health. Oh, yeah.
right?
Health costs
is
a
big
lot of money
thing.
nowadays in
Yeah.
2025.
I know I learned so much from
freedom.
like all your health like little things. You're like, don't eat this anymore, guys. Like
Yeah.
go and do this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, if I wasn't in branding, I would definitely be in like the health and non-toxic space 100%. But
Yeah.
for me, definitely it's freedom, like the freedom to be able to do whatever I want, be able to help my family. And health is number one, obviously, because if you don't have health, you don't got nothing else. So
Yeah. So that's, I feel like it's very important to figure that out right at the beginning, because that's how you're going to attract your people. If people don't know your values, or if you don't know your values, you're going to attract everybody, and that's not going to work out, right? So you have to know four to five of your values, and then start displaying those values on social media. So for me, it's freedom. So I'm going to talk about the ways that I have been able to have freedom in my life. So through building a business, through outsourcing, because I love my time freedom, and then with my relationship with God, I will talk about that so I can attract women of God, men of God onto my page. And then that's where people will start being like, okay, I'm bought into her. I'm not bought into whatever product she's selling. So I can sell whatever I want now because they trust me and my values. They can relate to me. I've influenced them to grow. Even if it's a couple steps ahead, they will still grow because I'm a couple of steps ahead. People think that you have to be like 50 steps ahead, 100 steps ahead, be the expert in order for them to pay attention to you. No, you just got to be one step ahead. And so I feel like that if you are able to display your values, you will attract your people and they will buy whatever because they trust you. They want a piece of you. They want to be a part of your world. Mm-hmm. So for example, what that looks like for me, I went from selling skincare, selling makeup products to selling, then after going and selling crypto. Like Crypto, from skincare to crypto.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, I'm here for this.
You're like, what's going on over here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's going on over here? Why skincare to crypto? And then from crypto, I went to we went to having a branding course, right? And people judge that. They're like, oh, but like you were so talking about skincare, now you're talking about crypto, and now you're talking. But people are allowed to change. Like the thing is people think like they're too scared to rebrand themselves, but you are always growing. You're a growing individual, especially as an entrepreneur. You are always developing yourself. You're a new version of yourself. And I'm gonna always rebrand myself if I change my values, right? So people get stuck with their content too. They're like, I don't really align with this content anymore, so change it. But they're so scared because they think that's the brand that they built.
Or that people will be like, oh, you're doing so many different things, but like anybody who judges that is not an entrepreneur, because that's what entrepreneurs do. They try things until they figure it out. So you're gonna try multiple things. Every entrepreneur you know is gonna have a lot of failures under their belt, like almost all of them. Even me, I've had so many failed businesses. I had to try 10 things until I finally got to the thing that's actually going to make me money or give me success. So that's it. Anybody who's like thinking like I'm scared to try a new thing, or what if they think like, oh, she was doing this and now she's doing that. Yeah, that's what entrepreneurs do. I'm testing it until I get to the thing that was meant for me. And every single failure along the way is going to teach you something. Every failed business I had taught me a very essential skill that helped me in the next one. So, and then that's how you look like an overnight success. Like, oh, they just started a course and now they're so successful. No, but you didn't see the 10 years of the failed businesses.
And the grind and
right?
the
The quit businesses, the ones that depleted the pockets, you didn't see those. But all of those taught me a lesson. And I was able to bring those lessons forward into the next one. So, yeah.
So the lesson for that is if you need to rebrand yourself and recreate yourself, my rule is every 6 months, I'm always recreating myself. What can I do to, not be predictable? I don't want to be that, because that's the entertaining factor of you, right? If you're unpredictable to your audience, people will always want to be on their toes to come back for more, right? So I'm always trying to recreate myself, still aligned with my values, but I will recreate myself if I need to. So some people are like stuck in their unaligned content. I was there last year. I was posting content where I was posting income claims. Like I was posting my money that I was making every day, every week, 10,000, 20,000. This is how much money I made every single day. I was doing that. And then I became so unaligned with it and I stopped posting content, and I thought I still had to do that. And then finally I'm like, no, I am a growing individual. Like I'm always evolving, right? I like new things, right? So then I decided to recreate myself in January. I'm like, okay, Jazz, like you asked yourself a year ago, what do you want to be known for? You're going to ask yourself that again. What do you want to be known for? And then I was like, it was totally different from what I said a year ago. And then that's when I started posting my content that's more healing to people, that's more healing their mindset, talking more about my relationship with God, because genuinely that's what brought me so much fulfillment in my life. So as soon as I got clear of that and I rebranded myself, I grew from 75,000 followers to 300,000 followers in 3 months. So that's why I'm like, you're allowed to rebrand. And I always tell people that if you're unaligned with your content, sit with yourself, ask yourself today, what do you want to be known for? Lead with that. And then you're going to see how the growth comes. So
you've always done that since I've known you. Like every 6 months, like she's so good at it. I get a little lazy, but she's so good at it. Every 6 months, she's a new hair, new outfits, or she's changing the way she's talking online. It's like a different era. You know, I remember you had one era that was faith, fitness, finances.
Yes.
And then she would even like, her screen on her phone would be like a faith, fitness, finances. And it was like, she would just get into like this new era, and her whole persona, the way she would talk online, everything would kind of adjust. And the audience really like would be like, oh wow, this is like something's different, you know?
Yeah.
So, and she's very, very good at that. So.
And I got that. I didn't get that from me. I got it from, and that's another important thing. You should always be learning and reading books. So I got that from the 48 Laws of Power. So in the 48 Laws of Power, it says, recreate yourself. And it didn't say every 6 months. For me, that was my rule. Every 6 months, I'm going to recreate myself and see what I can do that's new. I'll cut off my hair. Now that it's long, I'll just chop it off.
Yeah.
I've done that so many times, like 3 times already. I've chopped off my hair completely,
hair,
like to this
so.
hair.
Yeah.
And then people are like, whoa, this is something new, you know? Or I'll do something for the plot, you know? Like I'll do something for the plot all the time. Like psych, it got you there, you know? So always like make it entertaining, you know? That's what a brand is about, is people just want to be on their toes all the time with your brand. So yeah.
So I know you guys weren't always, you know, these huge influencers changing people's lives and being, you know, on social media and stuff like that. Can you talk about like where you started and that moment that you were like, I'm making the decision to do this full time?
So I was watching Jasmine in network marketing. You know where we met? Actually, we met at the club. Okay.
At the club.
Yeah. At the club. We all fam. I was.
We were not fam.
Oh yeah, actually, I didn't like her.
She did not like me.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
But that's a best friend story. You know, that always happens like that.
That's
She
hilarious.
judged me.
I didn't really,
is what she
We
did.
don't have to get into the details, okay? We don't have to get into the
She's
details.
like, you're a bottle service girl, and then she's a bartender. Literally, I'm like, girl.
Okay, I was a little bit on my high horse at the time because I had my little.
She had her
professional
business.
and I just did that job on the evenings and the weekends, and yeah, I was not personally developed, but we met at the club, so we used to work at a club together, and then she started working online, and I saw her. And at the time, I had a brick and mortar business. I had heating and air conditioning business. Whenever I tell people that, they're like, "What? Can I see you? Can I see you doing that?" But and I was doing pretty well. I had in my first year, I got my first $600,000 contract, and I was like young, and I was like, "Whoa! Like this is so cool." But I realized very quickly that the brick and mortar has so many limitations because I knew that I didn't want to live in Toronto. I'm from Toronto. It's very cold there. I do not fuck with the cold. Oh, sorry. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear. give me a thumbs up or not.
You're good.
Yeah,
You're
okay.
good.
Your podcast.
So not really. So I did not mess with the cold, okay, in Toronto. And I knew I didn't want to live there forever, but I was building this business, and like, you're building your clientele, you're building your technicians, you're building your contractors. And what happens when you move? You lose everything. Your entire business is gone. And I realized how much working capital a brick and mortar business requires. There was times I had to send like $90,000 for equipment in a check. And my heart was like, ooh, like, you know, and then you have to pay your, like, it's so much money. It's no location freedom, no time freedom, and everyone's always calling you, complaining about their problems. Now, there is obviously very successful HVAC companies, but I just wanted something that was very flexible. And I also felt very lonely because I was building it by myself. Of course, I had, you know, my dad was giving me advice. He did HVAC for a very long time, but I was building the entire business myself, and I felt very lonely. And then I saw her online with a bunch of girls, and they're like working together. And I'm like, what are these girls doing? Like, I want to be in a group of girls like working. I don't want to do it alone.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I didn't have anybody to ask a question. Like, what do I do next? I've never done this before. And that's when I started asking her questions about it. And she knew not to sell me because you can't sell me.
No.
So she just
I
answered
actually
the question.
didn't even try to sell her.
She did.
Because
Wait,
I
so
knew
how
the
did
headache.
you get her to be a part of your?
You don't-
I
You
didn't.
don't get a green
she
to be a
got
part.
herself into it.
Yes.
I knew the
You
headaches I
can't
was going
sell
to
a
get from
green.
her.
They have to sell themselves.
So what a green is, if you guys don't know, is someone who looks at every possible scenario and like overthinks everything and just, you know, like she
Just
analyzes,
analytical. Yeah,
analyzes
analytical.
everything. So I am not like that. So I knew I wasn't going to sell her because I'm like, I don't have the answers for all the questions you have. So she sold herself through my branding and marketing. And go ahead.
And she had like 30 people on her team at the time, and I joined, and then we blew it up. And that's kind of like how it started. That was my first, network marketing was my first online experience, and I instantly fell in love because I saw, like, I always knew I was gonna be successful, but I didn't know how. Like, I didn't know what the vehicle was gonna be, and I kept trying things and I kept failing, like so many failed businesses. And then once I saw like the online world and how you can get paid to like post on social media, I was like, this is it, because I can take this anywhere, and I can move anywhere. I can do whatever I want if I achieve this. And that's what really made me go all into the online space. And it's completely changed my life. Moved out of my mama's basement, okay, and and living in Miami, and I'm able to do that thanks to social media. And I want to say one more thing, that social media is the first time I ever got paid to be myself. When I was in HVAC, I had to be very professional, suit and tie, and I couldn't show my personality, and I had to be like, hello. Like, and
I can't imagine you being
girl,
like that.
Yeah.
they did not know I had a personality. They thought I was wallpaper. Like, that's how boring I had to be, because they wouldn't respect me otherwise, right? It's a male dominated industry. I had to tone down my personality, and I also didn't have the confidence that I have today. But then I went online and I'm like, I got paid to be myself. Like I could be my loud, crazy self, and I'm gonna make more money than pretending to be someone that I'm not, trying to impress these middle-aged European white men. You know, like it's facts. Yeah. So that's how I got into it.
Yeah. My story is a little different. It stemmed from a relationship. And I actually tried to figure out entrepreneurship online for 2 years, from 2017 to like 2019. And then I got into a relationship, and that guy's like, don't worry, you don't gotta work. I'll pay for everything. I got you. And I'm
That
like,
always sounds like a plan.
yeah. And I was like, wow, because I was trying to figure it out for 2 years. Like, you're telling me I don't have to figure it out anymore. So I'm like, that's the lottery right there. So I went for it. And not every scenario is like this, but my scenario was a little different. Unfortunately, the guy and myself, I was broken too. We were both broken, okay? And he provided for me financially my entire life, but in exchange for my peace, okay? And I realized in that scenario that I actually valued my independence. I thought I wanted success when I was before this, and I was trying to figure it out. To be a successful entrepreneur, I wanted to make a lot of money, but I didn't value it. I valued it after I seen how my peace was robbed from me, and I was like, that's more important to me than money. So I wanted to take back my peace, and so I decided when I was in that relationship, I'm like, you know what? This life is, it was beautiful. I had a Bentley. He gifted me a Bentley truck. He gifted me all the nice things. And everyone was like, wow, you're so lucky. And I was like, wow, but why aren't I happy? And I had to really sit down and realize, like, he was really controlling me financially. So he would provide for me. And unfortunately, I really didn't have peace in that relationship. And then I was like, okay, like, how can I solve this for myself? How can I actually have happiness in my life? And that's when I was like, okay, I know that I can take back the control by relying on myself and learning how to trust myself, because that's where it stemmed from. I tried for 2 years. It didn't work out. I failed, and I was tired. I couldn't figure it out, and I just didn't trust myself to do it. So that's why I handed that off to somebody else, and it robbed me of my peace. So I'm like, okay, how do I take this back? And then I was like, okay, I need to trust myself that I can do this. So I went into it full force then. That's when I was like, I'm not doing this as like a little side hustle. I'm actually going to go all in. Why? Because I don't have a backup plan. I am the backup plan. So that's when I was in survival mode. So I wouldn't recommend that, like to have your drive off of survival mode, but sometimes that happens. And it was do or die. There was no option. I had to level up, or else I was going to go back to that. And then in 6 months, I made my first 6-figure income, and I still didn't leave because I was comfortable. And then I realized after, I'm like, okay, I can do this. Like, I can get out of this. And then I left that relationship. And ever since then, like, it's beautiful to be able to trust yourself and rely on yourself, because you no longer have to compromise your values and or compromise things like peace and the little things that are important in life. And so that's what I teach women now. Like, I teach women how to be independent in 90 days, because it's possible. A lot of women don't get into business, or they're not successful because they just don't trust themselves. So that's what I teach, and that's why we went full force in this online business.
What's your perspective on like women who just don't want to do business because they feel like it's too masculine? Like, I've seen that all over TikTok. Like,
I used to judge that.
Yeah.
But I was heavy in my masculine. So
Yeah.
I had to actually learn how to be feminine, because I grew up really close to my dad. Obviously, I'm close to my mom too, but my dad was like my idol. And he was an entrepreneur, and I always like mimicked everything he did. And so I was honestly too hyper independent and very anti-masculine. And I had to learn how to femininity, like literally maybe 2-3 years ago, because I didn't even realize that I wasn't Like I was paying for dates, okay? Like I don't like to admit this, but I was
Oh,
going
Lord.
out and you know, like, oh, the second, third date, let me pay. Like, you know, he paid before. And I told my dad, and my dad's like, what? He's like, you're paying? He's like, yeah, you taught me to be independent. He's like, no, I didn't teach you that. I taught you to have your own money. But if a man's taking you out, you don't pay for, like, they're taking you out. And I was like, oh, okay. Like I totally misunderstood the assignment, right? And then I was like, all right, I'm not doing that. So I had to learn like just the femininity because I just grew up very masculine. And so I always judged women like that. Like, oh, they don't want to work. Like they just want a man to pay for it. But to be honest, like there's nothing wrong with that. Like you have to do what you love. I think there always has to be a safety blanket in the sense of, if you don't have the discernment to choose a man who's not going to take advantage of you when they're taking care of you, you always have to have a safety blanket.
Yeah.
Like I told a story on my Instagram before that I used to be engaged, and when I got engaged, I was a couple months away from being married, and my dad pulled me on the side and he's like, "Do you have a bank account that he doesn't know about?" And I'm like, "No, why would I have a bank account he doesn't know about?" And he's like, "You need to get a bank account and you need to put 10 grand, 20 grand in. If you don't have it, you let me know and we'll figure it out." And he doesn't know about that. That's the just in case. And my dad provided for my family my whole life. And he's never like controlled my mom or anything like that, but he knew what men are capable of.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not to say all men. I love men. Okay. I love my dad. I love my brother. But not all men do what they're supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you allow them to provide for you, they can do it with great honor. But some other ones will take advantage, like in her situation, right? Where they're providing and then they're also controlling and they're isolating and they're doing all these things. You don't understand how many women message me that are in abusive relationships. I get thousands of messages. Abusive relationships, the man is literally beating them, controlling them. They make the money and like they go to work and the man takes the money. They literally can't even get out because they don't have money for essentials like food and a hotel.
And that's scary.
Right? So like it's nothing wrong with relying on a man. I think that's beautiful. I think that's godly. But at the same time, if you don't have the discernment, which we are all broken people and we're going to attract broken people, you also have to have something of your own so that you're never put in a position like that. Because, so I had nothing wrong with a woman, you know, staying home and wanting to cook and clean. And I actually, I respect it. I hate cooking, so it's not going to be me. But if they're passionate about that and they love that, I think that can be very fulfilling. Being a mother is a very fulfilling thing. So, I don't know if you want to comment on that.
That was a perfect response. But I'll keep it short. I think that in business, you need both masculine and feminine for it to thrive. I've resented my masculine side because of the survival mode I put myself in. So then I didn't want to work at all when I was successful in my business. So I was only in my feminine and I just wanted to go to spas and I just wanted to do Pilates. And then the money was stagnant. So then I had to learn how to not resent my masculine side and be like, why? Why do I not like working? And it's because I attached survival mode to my masculine side. And so I realized, okay, like how do we get out of survival mode when we're working in our masculine energy? And it's just letting go of control. Like I feel like people are like, I don't want to be in my masculine because they think that they have to have control over everything. What do I mean by that? Like I'm trying to figure it out and it's already figured out. And then you're trying to figure it out some more, you know? And it's like, when do we stop figuring it out? When are we good enough? When is it good enough that like, okay, I put in the work and like, we're going to let God, you know, do the rest, you know? And then I had to get out of that survival mode and trust like my actions are going to get me the reward. And then I'm going to let my second business partner do the rest, which is God. So then that's when I started to feel so much better. Like I love working now. Like I love coming up with ideas. I love being creative with my business. I love the adrenaline rush that I get from the event that I just had. Like I love all of that because yes, it's nerve-wracking, but I'm not like frustrated 24/7 because I give it to God at the end of the day, right? So that's, I feel like is needed for business is masculine and feminine. And when you have both of that, it's just such a powerful duo. And so much is going to happen when you know how to work both those energies. Yeah.
And when I tapped into the feminine, I forgot to mention that's when I made the most amount of money. Because I think women are very different from men. We have different hormonal cycles and men can just get up and work every single day the same amount, but women are very different. And so when I tapped into the feminine side, I tripled my income because I was no longer operating stressed. Like before everything was hard and everything was grit and I was doing like the hustle, but I feel like for a woman, we operate in a different way and we can actually attract abundance and we can attract success working in a very different way than men. And once I tapped into that, I literally tripled my income and was way less stressed. So definitely tap into that feminine energy, ladies.
That is so powerful. And thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to speak with us today. I want to end with, what is something that you can give like as advice to someone that might not have come to this event, that wasn't here this year, that wants to come next year? And, what would you tell them when it comes to coming to an event to speak with people like you and connect with other creators?
I feel like that a lot of people shy away from coming to events like this because we're so used to building our businesses alone, by ourselves, especially if it's online. It's easy to build your business at home, like if it's an online business. But I feel like you will reach a certain ceiling if you don't get out of that isolation. It's so important to be in close proximity with high level entrepreneurs who have what you want. Energy is contagious. So whether it's negative or positive, like it's still contagious. So if you are in a negative environment or if you are in an environment by yourself, you just don't know the possibilities that there is for you to get to the next level. And by doing that, you have to get out of your comfort zone and be in rooms like this so that you can have aha moments. So you can have breakthrough moments and be like, wow, I didn't know that that's what I had to do. Like, and you get inspired by that. And you won't get that if you are at home or even tuning in on a Zoom call or getting things for free on YouTube. There's just so much information out there that creates overwhelm that you eventually just don't do anything. You're just a professional learner and that doesn't get you paid. So I feel like you got to get out of your comfort zone. Like even if you're shy, I was shy. Like I remember when I was getting out of that relationship, I knew I had to, it was do or die. I had to make it happen. So what did I have to do first? I needed to get into the right network. So I went to networking events and I went by myself so that I didn't have, like, let's say if I brought Dray, I didn't like bring her and then start talking to her because it's comfortable. I went by myself because I had to force myself to meet strangers and talk to strangers and connect with them. And that was scary to me, but I had to do it. So I would say next time, don't miss out. Come out to the next event. It's like, that's where your breakthrough is going to happen, and that's where your income is going to start to grow. So proximity, super important. I always say if you need to, like if you've been at home building your business and you haven't met anyone, that is a problem. Get out there, get into rooms that have what you want, and you'll see how you just change with that energy on its own.
Yeah, I would say proximity as well for me. I will just say events completely changed my life. Like, it's a scientific thing that when you meet somebody that does something that you think is out of reach, your brain starts to normalize it. And that's what happened to me. I when I was younger, and I remember talking with my brother, and I would be like, if we could only make 10 grand a month, like we would be so rich, like we'd be set. And then I made 10 grand a month, and I was like, this is like my baseline expenses right now. Like, like literally, is 10 grand is like minimum wage in Miami with the prices of everything. But your like ceiling rises when you get around and the people that are making 50 grand, 100 grand a month, 200 grand a month, and then it starts to become normal to you. Prior to that, I didn't even imagine that over 10 grand existed, that it was like a thing that people get. Mm-hmm. And everything that I've achieved in my life, or a lot of the things I've achieved in my life, came from the result of meeting one person. My first ever investment property that I bought was this man that I met at an event. And I walked up to him and he had 10 properties, and I asked him if I could take him to lunch. And he literally told me what area to buy in, and I bought my first property within like 3 months of that event. Like even where I live right now, one of my mentors that also from networking events that I met her, I went to her house, and she lived in like this beautiful building in Miami, and I was still living in my mom's basement at the time, and I would go over and I would be like, wow, like they take your bags and they put water in your car and they like bring up your groceries. And I was like, this is like crazy. And then I started going again and again and again. And I'm like, this is normal. Like your brain literally starts to normalize it. And I remember sitting on the edge of her like living room with my feet on the window, and I was like, one day this is gonna be my view. And literally years later, I have the exact same view. I manifested the exact same view because it was normalized in my brain. It became something that was attainable. So getting close to people, having that proximity with people literally rewires what you believe is possible, and it will change your life in every way. And this event, Creator Hub, is so good for that because there's some players in this room, man. There's some mega people in this room. There's a lot of people to meet, and it's not so big where like you can't actually go up to them.
Yeah.
So it's a really amazing event for anybody who's has a business and is trying to do something online. Like, you need to be here. And if you're not here,
then
What
stay
you
at
doing?
home then.
Yeah.
What you doing?
Then stay at home then. Then stay at home. No kidding.
Where can everyone follow you guys?
So for me, jasmines.world, double I in the Jasmines, and
for me, it's digital.dray on Instagram.
Perfect. So that's a wrap. You guys
Thank
heard
you.
it here exclusively from the Creator Hub Studios, presented by Trendset.